I know it's dark. I'm in my car right now, and I am not draining this battery for anybody, so don't ask. But before I start, smash that like button. Smash it. I'm talking Hulk smash. I'm talking whatever smash you could think of. Smash like on the video. Um, Share this out. Subscribe. Do whatever you need to do. But the most important thing I want you to do tonight is listen. Um, on a serious note, right? A lot of you, or if anybody listens to this, I okay. I'm gonna give you a background of me, of who I am, right? My name is Anthony, right? I'm 28. I'll be 29 in a week on June 4th. So many blessings to me. Um, I I'm somebody who I'm still finding myself, if that makes sense. And that's kind of what I want to talk about here on this live is finding yourself in your late 20s. Um, it's crazy because like you think about it and you know you don't really think about it when you're in your early 20s or when you're 18 or 17. Like I can remember back to when I was 16, 17, getting ready for my senior year, and I'm like, yo, like this is crazy, and like I'm about to be a senior, I'm about to graduate. I didn't know if I was going to go to college, but I knew that graduation was coming, and that was huge. um I know for me, like I think my senior year made me start realizing I need to have a plan, right? And my family, well, at least on my dad's side, um, we weren't really much into like the planning stages of after high school. It was more just, at least to me, looking back and at the time, it felt like, hey, let's just get them to high school, both myself and my brother, and whatever they do after high school is on them, but we want them to be safe, right? That's the vibe it gave off, right? Which again, nothing wrong with that. There's many styles of parenting. I'm not gonna critique that. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you, oh, they did a bad or a good job. I'm not doing that. That's not for me to do, right? And full disclosure, my brother and I, we turned out very well. He's 25 now. He has his own place. He has his own job. He's doing really good. Um, and he's doing great. Myself, I'm in the military, so you could say I'm doing good, but I made my decision, right? Um, but the reason I say I'm finding myself is because, I have a lot of interests in life. And I feel like what interests me is also the thing that hinders me when it comes to finding a job or a career or just something, right? How many of us, when we decided, okay, we're going to graduate, and whether you do an internship, whether you go to school, whether you go to military, a trade, or you go straight into just a job, field, whatever you want to do, right? You're doing retail, you're doing whatever, right? How many of us at that time said, you know what? This is exactly what I want to do for the rest of my life, right? Raise your hand. I doubt it. I doubt anybody that's going to listen to this is going to raise their hand and go, yeah, because you don't know yet. You're not sure. You're at that point where you're kind of thinking, but you're not sure, and you're just like, yeah, I don't know, right? But you do know you got to have a direction. You got to have a direction because if you don't, you're going to stay stuck. And if you're stuck, you're stagnant. And if you're stagnant, you're never getting out of that. You are never, ever getting out of it. And that's one thing, honestly, that I'm grateful because it's a mindset. It's all, most of it's mental. I'd say about 90% of it's mental. And, you know, you start realizing when you get older, like in your 20s, and you start realizing, you know what? Going out tonight and drinking all night, or going out and just hanging with friends all night, doing nothing. If you smoke, you smoke. You start realizing, okay, you know what? it's probably not the best idea, right? But that's in your early 20s because, your early 20s, you live, you want to party, you want to do this, you want to do that. But, you sort of realize, okay, that's a lifestyle, but that's not a goal, right? It's not a goal you have. That's something you do. It's a life, you know what I'm saying? It's a lifestyle. But as you start getting into like your mid 20s, like when I was 24, 25, I was trying to get my own place. Mind you, this is coming off of me moving out of my dad's house when I was 18 after graduation. And it was like, okay, here's what the plan is, right? But I didn't have a plan. It was more just, I'm doing things. You kind of just, like, I'm great at making stuff happen on the fly, like winging it. I'm great at that. But when it comes to actually planning it and going, hey, I'm going to do this by this date or this by that date, I'm not really the best at that. I'm not. And you would think, with me being in the military, you would think, oh, structure, discipline, blah, blah, blah. But it's also a mentality. And see, my thing was, I always refused to get bogged down with one thing in life. I always refused that because, you think, okay, like, okay, let's say you want to be a lawyer out of high school, right? Okay, you have to go to law school. But you can also intern, right? You can intern. So let's say you intern for the duration of you being in school. Or even not. Let's say you intern for a month and you realize, I don't like it, but you still want to be a lawyer, or that's your path. Or your parents said, hey, no, you started this, you got to finish it. You got to finish law school. Now you're in debt thousands of dollars because you had an idea, you know? And now you're sort of on that forced path of, okay, I got to become a lawyer. Or at the very least, I have to finish school. But then it's like by the time you finish school, you might as well be a lawyer because you already did everything, right? It's the same thing with becoming a doctor. My God, the amount of years you got to put in, the amount of work, the amount of money, the amount of time, stress, everything. Like most people don't make it that far. We're talking 10, 12 years of extra education you have to do. That's before you even start anywhere.